right, the next match was what was it called? The Dynasty Eliminator Tournament for an International Title Shot match. And it was Frank the Beast Mortos taking on the wild card who turned out to be, drum roll please, Speedball Mike Bailey. Now, I have heard the name Speedball Mike Bailey. I've heard it. I've seen it in print. I have heard of that name, but I've never seen this guy wrestle. I've never seen a picture of him. I didn't know what to expect here, but I've heard this name. And Brent, I think you can agree. It sounds kind of like a cool now, Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Rollerball Rocco. It's a cool name. And like you, I had seen the name. And I certainly had like kind of, maybe unfairly, a vision in my mind of what he could look like and what he could be. And we got to see him finally.
And it wasn't that, was it? That you might have envisioned. I think they should have called him Pinball, because that's about the size that he is, and that's what he does. He's got a karate gimmick, but it doesn't look like a legitimate karate gimmick. And they say he's a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, but I think it's a video game karate gimmick. He's wearing the flashy Far Eastern influenced jacket, and he's doing the fist in the palm pose, and he's got a great smile. Do you think those teeth are really his, or did he get those implants?
Oh, I actually was wondering about the smile too. I don't know if they were teeth. I thought it was a mouth guard.
Oh, it might have been, but he's got a big old bright smile. They are the whitest.
Yeah, it was so bright. That's what made me look. Yeah.
Yeah, the whitest teeth I've ever come across. But the problem is, he's got 2 problems. Number one, he's from the Twinkle Toes school of pointing, posing, and gesticulating. And secondly, he was shorter and lighter than Aubrey Ed, who was the referee and towered over him. They didn't even announce him at a weight. But I mean, it looks like a small child that has dressed up in a fancy martial arts video game costume, and he's been training in the Junior Olympics for the uneven parallel bars. And but I should have known when everybody was saying, oh, this guy would be something special, that it had to be this kind of thing instead of the Braun Breaker kind of thing, where he really is special and it is going to be a fucking big star. We got another fucking master of the floor exercise. So, and he's not real smart either. He launches into the gymnastics, the flips and the kicks and the pointing and the posing. But then week 2 in wrestling school, he must have fucking been sick that week. Because he's like the rest of them. He's concentrating on all the moves he's doing and the poses he's striking, and the shit didn't make any sense. He did a moonsault off the apron to the floor on Frank the Beast, but the Beast moved. So Bailey landed on his feet, and then the Beast fucking leveled him. So the babyface hot dogs, and it backfires when the heel outsmarts him. That is Bizarro World Wrestling School lesson in week 2. And I got to think the chains on the Beast's mask have to get in the way. Even if they're plastic, it's got to get in the way of something. I don't know what the fuck. They were on the floor for a while, and Aubrey stared at them. And Mike Bailey took back over on the floor and got back in the ring to do another dive to the floor. And then they went to the break. And when they came back from the break, both guys were down and immobile. So they should be cueing these guys, and it's live television, so they've got a fucking set time. They should be cueing these guys when they come back from a break where they could be in action. It's what we used to do in OVW or in Ring of Honor, or any television program that I was attempting to produce. If you're in commercial break, you tell the referee, okay, We're coming back in 15 seconds. Tell them to get in a spot or get in motion. And you wouldn't come back with guys laying in a hold. You would come back with the people up, with the guys just fighting out of the hold and giving an elbow to the gut, another elbow to the gut, and he takes off and hits the ropes, but the other guy fucking clotheslines him back down, to where when you come back from the break, the viewer at home sees the people starting to cheer and make noise, and the guy starting to fight back and running and in some type of motion where you can call that Brian trying to come out of the chin lock that he suffered for the entire commercial break, but there, wait, he's broken away and he comes off the ropes, but Cornette with a clothesline puts him down. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. You've done your call, then you do your reset. We're back on AEW. We got this and that title on the line or whatever the fuck, and people are with it instead of that. And then they got up and Mike Bailey started beating the shit out of Frank. And then the Beast was on the apron of the ring. Bailey turned around and went to hit the far rope so that he could run back all the way across the ring at the Beast for a big boot. And he missed him. His foot went right past him and the Beast was standing still. And did you see that part where his foot went straight over his fucking shoulder and the Beast sold it anyway?
I did see that, of course.
And then he did a backflip off the fucking buckle. That was perfect. So he can't hit a stationary target with his foot, but he can do backflips and land on his feet. And I wrote, I just noticed Speedball Mike Bailey is barefoot. How can you be less intimidated of a seventh grader you're about to fight? Oh, he's barefoot.
He was wrestling that whole time, and until one of the commentators actually said, you know, he wrestles barefoot, I was like, oh shit. Because it's like half of his ankle or his whole ankle was covered, so you didn't even see his feet.
He's got some kind of kick pads or whatever that probably has a thing that goes around the foot to hold him on, but he has no shoes. And the way he wrestles, I'm pretty sure I know why. He can't afford them. So then they climbed to the top and gingerly balanced for a while so that the Beast could pick Mike Bailey up and press slam him off the top rope, which was a very impressive looking bump. And then the Beast gave Bailey more big moves. And then seconds after, he'd be fine and he'd be back on offense. And the Beast is twice his size. But they were wrestling like it was, they were even competitors. And then finally, Mike Bailey did a standing backflip and landed with both knees in the middle of the Beast's stomach. I swear to God, if I was Mortos and he looks like he could do it, I would have kicked the shit out of this kid for that move and the next one. Because after he backflipped and landed with his knees in the guy's stomach, then he did a double spinning ballet pirouette into a fucking kick to the head with his heel and potatoed the fuck out of the Beast. Did you see that one? I watched it in slow motion.
What did you think?
He kicked the side of the guy's head in with his fucking heel after he spun around for 3 times. I swear to God, I have never seen the lack of caring for or taking care of another motherfucker's body than I have from this company since they've been on the air in 50 years in the wrestling business. That guy wouldn't have got a chance to throw that kick but once. If either Mortos was really a beast or the booker had an idea on what the fuck he was doing, because Jesus H. Christ. But anyway, so we got another midget that's fucking doing the high wire and the trapeze act. And I bet you he'll go far in this tournament because Tony won't want to beat him because he's doing somersaults. What'd you think? Let down?
First time seeing this guy, a bit of a letdown when he came out and I realized he was a smaller guy. Not my thing, but let me ask you a question and try to look at the positives. After talking about the story of Charles Midget Fisher, Do you think maybe Tony should lean into the fact that most of his roster, with the exception of some people like the Hurt Syndicate or whatever, are smaller guys, both in height and in weight, and in some cases both, and have a middleweight division so that it's not as ridiculous?
Well, then he'd have to change the name of all of his belts, and he's got so many belts that could put him out of fucking business.
No, it won't. He loves that. He loves new belts, and he has lots of money. And he doesn't love money. He loves giving it away. So it may work.
Yeah, so it needs to be the International Light Heavyweight title and the Continental Junior Heavyweight title and the fucking TBS Middleweight title.
But see, just use it to differentiate yourself from WWE. We have, this style of wrestling here. Even if it's not true, just fucking run with it so you have something.
Oh, it's true. They have a different style of wrestling than the WWE. They could advertise that all day long and not get fucking heat.
How tall was
false advertising?
How tall was Speedball or Pinball, whatever he's called him?
Could he been 5'6"?
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. Was he like 5'5", 5'6"? So you were kind of in the same range.
How big is Aubrey? Because she was a little taller than he is. A little broader in the beam, too, but she's let herself go.
And he had like a Tatanka haircut. So just the whole thing.
Yeah,
like, who is this guy?
He looked a little bit like Paul London's younger, smaller, littler brother.
Was it Paul London a smaller guy?
Yes, he was. But not this small.
Do you think Speedball's going to get Omega? Do you think Speedball, the way they treated him here, his debut, do you think?
I don't know. If you'd asked me a year ago, I'd said maybe Omega'd get a Speedball, but I mean, why would? Yes, I'm sure that they'd love to wrestle each other so they can do all of the cartwheels and the round-offs and the cheerleading routines, but it wouldn't draw any fucking money. Anybody that's gonna in any way enjoy seeing Speedball Mike Bailey is already watching this program because it's no different than everything else they got.